This is a recipe for chocolate cake. Dawn, can you believe we can make chocolate cake work on the ketogenic diet?
You can. It's delicious, it's rich, chocolatey, and buttery.
And chocolate is really low in carbohydrate, quite high in fiber, and there's antioxidants and other nutritional value to chocolate. Of course, our cake doesn't have sugar in it, and we are going to use weighed ingredients and follow a 3-to-1 calculation.
Correct. First, we're going to mix the wet ingredients together. We need 25 grams of raw egg, 23 grams of heavy cream, 12 grams of melted butter, 7 grams of neutral flavor oil, 3 grams of vanilla extract, and we use pure vanilla extract. So we're going to carefully just stir these together until it's incorporated, and then we can start adding the dry ingredients. 5.5 grams of coconut flour. Okay, and then you want to add your favorite part?
Oh, I get to add the cocoa. I have to smell it first.
Yep. We need 5 grams of cocoa powder, and make sure you have the unsweetened cocoa powder. And then next we need 1/2 gram of baking powder. And then if you could add a pinch of the baking soda. And then our sweetener for this recipe is actually Truvia, which is a powdered sweetener that is made from the plant of stevia.
This is one of the sweeteners that we use particularly for baking because it'll hold its sweetness. There's a bit of carbohydrate, it's pretty insignificant, but we are still counting it in our calculation for the carbohydrate content of this recipe.
So we're just going to make sure that this is very well mixed together. The last ingredient we want to add is a pinch of xanthan gum. We put 0.2 grams in this recipe. And xanthan gum is a very helpful ingredient with ketogenic cooking because it helps replace the gluten that is not in this recipe, and it will give this cake, or if we make these into cupcakes, a very spongy texture. And it will also help hold all of the fat in the recipe. Okay, Beth, why don't you go ahead and oil this little pan. We're using a little 4-inch non-stick pan, but we're still going to take the extra step and make sure that it's very well greased because we do not want any portion of this cake to stick to the pan. Okay, so that looked mixed well enough?
It looks great.
Would you like to scrape it into the pan?
Okay, and our oven's ready?
Yes, we have our oven preheated to 350 degrees.
How am I doing here, Dawn?
Okay, Beth, you're doing really good. Make sure that your bowl is scraped completely clean because every piece of this recipe that is left in the bowl is calories that are not making it to your meal.
How's that?
Perfect. So go ahead and bake the cake for about 15 minutes. You can check the doneness of the cake by pressing the center of the cake. If it springs back, that indicates to you that the center of the cake is thoroughly cooked through. Okay, Beth, I think this is about perfect.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Go ahead and test it.
And it springs back.
Exactly. That's exactly what you want to see. So we've baked it in this little tiny 4-inch non-stick pan, but there are so many other options that you could choose to bake it in. We have these fun silicone molds that come in all different shapes and colors, and it's a great way to make meals even more exciting, especially for small children.
Hey, I think there's some adults that would enjoy getting a chocolate cake in a heart mold, for example.
I've even baked this recipe in an easy bake oven, and it works perfectly.
Does it really?
Our cake is all finished, and in the next video, we're going to show you how to make frosting so that you can frost this cake. For this and many more great recipes, please visit charliefoundation.org.